Welcome everyone to another episode of Behind the Shades. I have your host here, Terrain, and I have the elementary school teacher, the author, the lady with the big smile. She's going to introduce herself and let you guys know a little bit about who she is and what she does. So go ahead, please.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I am so excited to be here today. So thank you so much. My name is Jami, and I am a wife, a mom, a teacher, a friend, a daughter, and so much more, and also an author, and still kind of trying to wrap my fingers around that title of being an author. It just kind of happened with circumstances in my life, and I'm excited to go on that adventure. Little nerve-wracking, but also very exciting at the same time. So again, I'm just so excited to be here. Thank you so much.
Perfect. So let's jump right into it. So, what started you down the path of becoming an author and sharing this beautiful creation that we call your book with the world?
Yeah, so we completed our family through open adoption. We started the process about 9 years ago. And we have had our beautiful daughter for 7 years from birth. So it's been absolutely amazing, challenging at the same time. And so I just really, she's my inspiration. I wanted her to really know how loved she is by everybody in her family. And it just kind of came about like that. It was kind of even an accident that it was published. It was a gift for her and our family. And then someone was like, you need to send that in. And so I kind of took the leap. And if I thought about it too much, I know that I wouldn't have done it. So I just sent it in and they accepted it. And I'm a published author. So it's a little strange to say. So yeah.
So, I guess upon completion of your family and now you're sharing this with the world, how does that make you feel?
Um, Proud of myself for not giving up on it. It was definitely something that I could have easily said, I can't do this. And having my daughter be proud of it as well. I was a little scared of that, of how she would feel about being in a story. She does have a different name. It is, all of us are different characters, but she knows it's us. So it's made for her. And she's proud of it too. So that makes me very happy. And, other people are enjoying it as well. And I'm really hoping the message about how beautiful adoption can be is shared with the world, because that's what I want to. So, yeah.
And I will believe that's important because sometimes you will hear, I don't know if you've heard this during the whole process or at the early stages of it, you'll hear that there's a certain level of stigma
Mhm.
to adoption. And the way I view it as very similar to you having your own children. There's someone out there that needs the love,
Mhm.
the attention, the comfort, the sense of family that maybe for whatever the reason they weren't able to obtain. And here you are, you have when you have one or two people who have all this love to give. So why not come together and share it? Was it an experience similar to that for everyone involved?
Yes, it was. I do believe it was one of the most challenging things my husband and I had to go through. It wasn't an easy process. It was definitely accepting that we weren't going to be able to have our own kids together. So that was the first thing we had to do. And once we were past that and learning more about adoption, it opened our eyes to how beautiful it was and how to complete our family that way was going to be amazing. I do have an older stepdaughter. She's in her 20s, so she is much older than our daughter. And I think for her too, it was easier to have a sister that's adopted than actually be a biological one. It just kind of made that connection a little easier, I think. So it was just something that was tough even for family members, because you just didn't know. We didn't know if we were going to get matched with somebody. We didn't know if we would be bringing our daughter home. And so there were times that were very challenging, but we just had to believe it was going to happen. So.
Although adoption and created a family this way, I would feel it's a private matter as well as it could be sensitive in some ways as well. How much of you, Jamie, and how much of your family's experience did you put into this book that you now are sharing with everyone and everyone?
So everything. I mean, everything in there is inspired by things that my daughter has said, by relationships that she does have with family members, and just seeing that it is possible to have such a beautiful connection. And we always say that blood doesn't make a family, it's love that makes a family. And that's what we focus on. And definitely my daughter knows her story. It's not a secret. And that's part of who she is. And she's proud of it. So definitely.
How big were her eyes and how filled was her heart when she first saw the book and she's like, Mom, this is about me?
So she knew I was doing it in the process, but it did take a while to get it completed. And so when we got the physical copy and I gave it to her, I didn't know how she was going to respond. And so when she held it, she opened, her eyes were huge, and then she started looking through it, she started bawling, and I was like, oh no, what's going on? And she's like, Mommy, I'm just so happy, I'm just so happy that you did this. And so that just filled my heart with so much joy to know that she was proud of it as well. So yeah, it was crazy. I wish I videotaped it, but I didn't. So
That's the age that we live in. If it's not on camera or film somewhere, it doesn't actually exist,
yeah,
right?
yeah. So yeah, and it's been a journey. When it first was published is right around the time that COVID hit. So I wasn't able to do as much as I really wanted to with it. I had to kind of pivot, which wasn't easy to do, especially being a teacher during the beginning stages of COVID. It was very overwhelming. And so it's still in the process of getting it out there and getting the message out there. This month is National Adoption Month, so it's kind of an important month, just to make people aware that it's a beautiful thing and try to change people's minds on what you had said before about how some people might perceive it. So, yeah.
So now that this is released, your book, now that you are making your rounds, now that there's a spotlight on you and your family now, what type of impact are you looking to have on the readers?
You know what? A positive one. It is definitely a book that needs to be shared with parents and kids together. Being a teacher, again, my goal is always to educate and, have people learn from things. And it's a beautiful story just to share, but also one that teaches you about adoption and that families can be different. And that's important to know. So I think some topics parents don't want to talk to their kids about sometimes. And this is just an easier way to do that. So.
How happy would you be if you were to walk into the classroom one day and you see a student has your book in their hand and now it is part of the curriculum? How important would that be?
It's amazing. It's a pretty weird thing. And especially that has already kind of happened. It is at my school. We did highlight it last year in November. And I have students that right now are checking it out and coming to me and telling them the book and they're reading it. And so that's important to me. And my daughter also goes to my school. So that's a little trippy as well. I work in a very diverse community at my school, and a lot of different types of families. And I think just knowing that there's acceptance and that, again, the message is we don't need to look alike and we need to care for each other. And I think in a world that we live in right now, that's very important. And it really starts with our kids. We have to change how they think, how they view things. And so when they grow up, they're able to make some different choices that have been made. So I think it's very important. And I get questions all the time and I'm not afraid to answer them. I mean, obviously it will be appropriate for age levels, but at the same time, it's just, they need to know, and they're curious about learning, then I'm going to help them learn. And yeah, and all of it's been very positive at school. My daughter she's very happy, and so that's good to know too, that the school accepts it as well and the students are accepting it as well. So
Do you feel that maybe this could be a step forward for other parents to speak about completing their family in the manner that you have as well?
yeah, I hope so. I hope so. And I love talking about it. Our journey definitely wasn't a regular one. And so just being able to help people through that process as well is a dream of mine, is to be an advocate for adoption. So that would be nice.
So, what advice would you want to give the next generation of, let's say, young readers, or even the next generation of parents out there who are going to be impacted by your book, or who may be impacted in a way that's going to allow them to carry forward?
Oh, wow. That's heavy stuff. Just don't give up on your dream. I could have easily have said that I wasn't going to be a parent, that I wasn't going to be a mom, that my husband and I weren't going to be able to have a child together, and been okay with that. But the leap that we took, and knowing that it wasn't going to be easy, really brought us together and strengthened us as partners. And just that it's powerful to not give up. It's powerful to believe that you can make something happen, and to hold on to it as long as you can.